Welcome back. I'm here today with Holly Devito. Holly is the founder and the owner of the Sum of All Numbers. Holly, welcome to today's show.
Thanks for having me, Alan.
So, Holly, can you give me your background of how you got to where you are today?
Absolutely. I started my company in 2006. I started as an independent bookkeeper, just working out of my home. I wanted something that I could work from home because I knew someday I would have a family and I wanted to be able to be there for my kids. So I started it in 2006 and grew it to where it is today.
And how many offices do you have?
I have about 10 offices. We're a virtual company, so we have employees all around the Bay Area. So we consider each one of those a separate office.
Mm-hmm. Now, why did you decide to start your own company?
I started my company because I knew I didn't want to work for somebody else. I'd been working in the mortgage business as a mortgage broker. And then when the market was starting to fall apart, I decided to do something else. So I started my business so that I could work from home, raise my kids, and do something that I really enjoyed doing. And I had been doing accounting and bookkeeping work in the past, so I decided it was a good transition. So
you were really looking for a different balance to your life then?
Absolutely.
You wanted something, the family, work, environment, and so when you ventured out to do this business, how did it feel?
It was scary. It was a little bit scary. It was intimidating. I had moved recently to the Bay Area, so I didn't know a lot of people here, and so it was intimidating to go out and have to go network with people and meet people and talk to people that I didn't know, and so it was a little bit intimidating and scary.
So you really started from scratch then? Just
absolutely.
Coming in new.
Yep, absolutely. It was completely from scratch.
Now, how when you were going through the process of acquiring a client or trying to get established in relationships, how did you go about that?
Lots of networking. It was chamber meetings, networking groups, talking to people, meeting new people, asking for introductions to other people, meeting a lot of CPAs, people that could refer us business. So. And lots and lots of networking.
And when you got that first customer, how was that?
It was exciting. My first customer kind of came to me. That's how I started the business, actually, is that he had asked me if I would help him do he was a web developer that I knew through the mortgage business. And he said, would you help me with my bookkeeping? And I said, sure, I can help you. And so so I started helping him, and he started to refer me to a few different customers, and soon I had 5 customers. And so I was like, all right, this is a decent business that I could continue this. So it was really exciting that just by knowing somebody, he was able to get me started and get me going on it. So.
Now, when you started this, the Sum of All Numbers, by the way, how'd you come up with the name?
My mom came up with the name. My mom's she's a school teacher. She's very creative. I'm not creative. I'm a bookkeeper. We don't do creative things. So, so she came up with the name Sum of All Numbers. So,
and then when you thought about this, initially starting, did you just want to stay one office, or was it always your vision just to kind of expand this thing virtually?
It wasn't actually. It was I just intended to do it as a job so that I could work from home and, have a work-life balance. But actually, it was my husband who believed in me more than I believed in myself. And he saw this and he thought, you know what, this could be a great opportunity to grow it and expand it. So having somebody there that's your support that can push you along the way really, really helped.
And when you're doing a virtual office today, what are some of the things that you had to think through?
Oh, lots of them. There's how do you communicate with your team members? How do you get people to be connected to each other, to our clients, to have a centralized, where do we keep everything? How do we keep things secure? How do we connect with each other on a personal level? There's a lot it's a balance having a virtual office and making sure that our employees feel like they're part of a team. That's really important to me, to make them feel like that they're part of a team and they're not working as independent bookkeepers out of their own homes.
Do you meet with them on a regular basis by phone?
We do. Yeah, we have a Monday morning conference call every Monday morning with the team, where we discuss client issues and talk about what they're doing for the week, what they were doing last week, what they finished up, what's still outstanding. We just discuss, state of the clients. And then at once a quarter, we get together for an all-day retreat where we discuss, what's happening for the next quarter, wrap up the last quarter, and we get together just to be able to connect personally. And then we try to have lunches and dinners, and when people are around, we try to get together and go out and do fun things as well. So
I find that's an important part of a business is
absolutely
keeping connected.
Absolutely. It's critical. Yep.
I'm visiting here today with Holly Devito. She is the founder of The Sum of All Numbers. It's a bookkeeping business that has 10 basically locations throughout the Bay Area. And Holly, we need to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk to you more about some of the challenges and opportunities that you've seen as you've brought your business to this point.
Great.
We'll be right back after these messages.
I love fishing, with my family.
I think it would be easier to use a net.
It was so much fun.
The times when we are together, it makes it all the more worth it.
Having Dad teach them how to cast a fly rod, and
as long as we're doing stuff together, we're having fun.
Some people see a father and a son fishing together, while others see a succession plan. Welcome back. I'm here today with Holly Devito. She is the founder and the owner of The Sum of All Numbers. It's a bookkeeping practice located here in Silicon Valley. It's virtual with 10 locations. Holly, we're talking about getting the business going and bringing you to this point, but what are some of the greatest challenges that you faced as you grew from one office to the 10 virtual locations?
Yeah. I think our greatest challenge is cash flow and managing the growth and being able to fund it, because we're completely bootstrapped. I've been able to grow this without any debt, without any investors. I think here in Silicon Valley, there's the thought that you have to have venture capital money or startup money in order to start a business. But I've been able to do it all on my own. But at times that's challenging. There's been months when I haven't taken a paycheck because I needed to put it back into the business or to hire somebody. And so I stopped paying myself for a while so that I could hire somebody new to help grow the business more. So that's been the biggest challenge, is how do you fund it and continue the growth?
It's the joys of owning a business.
Yes, absolutely.
You realize as the owner, you're the last to get paid.
Absolutely.
And, what opportunities have you seen by the same token as you've grown? In other words, you were one business, now you're 10. Right. Why?
Amazing opportunities have been opened up for us as we've grown. I've just acquired my third independent bookkeeper that I brought their clients into our clients. As we have grown, we've used acquisition to grow. I've met amazing people. I've been able to have the life that I wanted to have because I'm not working for somebody else. And I've also provided that to my employees, that they get the flexibility to be able to be with their children, be able to work from home, be able to grow as they want to grow. As they've been able to move different places on our career path and take on different challenges for them. And that's been exciting to me, to be able to support other people in that way.
As you develop the brand of Sum of All Numbers, what are some of the things that you've done to help strengthen that?
Something that's, as you know, that's big in the accounting and finance department or field is that a lot of companies come out with their names, something and associates or, with the name. And so we've developed our brand as Sum of All Numbers, specifically to take me out of it so that the clients aren't tied to me. And so as we've developed that brand, it's really created a name of its own, and it's a catchy name so people remember it. So it's helped a lot as to just, people will be like, oh, I've heard of you before. I remember that name. So that's been exciting.
And Sum of All Numbers, are you partnership, sole proprietorship, or?
I'm actually an S corporation now.
An S corp, yeah. Okay. And single owned, or do you have?
Well, my husband owns 10% of the business.
Okay. Well, good for him.
He wants more, but for now he owns 10.
So, what do you see for the future for the growth? Do you want to continue to do what you're doing in the manner that you're doing it? Do you want to stay local? Do you want to go beyond the boundaries of local? Yeah. What's in the works?
No, I want to have huge growth. I say I take over the world one bookkeeping client at a time. So acquisition is a huge focus for us because there's a lot of independent bookkeepers out there that are burnt out. Their clients are, as they grow, they have a hard time keeping up with their growth, and their clients get left behind. And we really are focused on a scalable solution for both clients and bookkeepers that are tired of doing all of it themselves. And so acquisitions is definitely our growth plan for the next 10 years or so till we want a national recognized brand.
Well, I'm visiting here today with Holly Devito. Holly is the founder and the owner of Sum of All Numbers. It's a virtual bookkeeping service with 10 locations throughout Silicon Valley. Holly, I'd like to talk to you more about some of the opportunities and challenges that you see happening here in Silicon Valley, but I need to take a quick break.
Right.
We'll be right back after these messages.
He's the world's most trustworthy man. Tax filing deadlines are scheduled around his vacation calendar. The IRS agent who audited his client apologized.
I don't always advise people on their taxes, but when I do, I save them every penny legally possible.
GrowCo CPAs and Advisors.
Come to GrowCo and stay wealthy, my friend.
Welcome back. I'm visiting here today with Holly Devito. Holly is the founder and the owner of the Sum of All Numbers. It's a virtual bookkeeping service located here in Silicon Valley with basically 10 locations. And Holly, you mentioned that in part of your strategy for growth, you did it through acquisition of other bookkeeping companies. What are some of the challenges that you have found as you've acquired other clients, someone else's clients?
There's always the challenge of the clients are tied to the person that was doing it before. And so that's been a big challenge, is to get them sold on what we do. And how we do that is making sure that they understand that as Sum of All Numbers, we're not one person. They're not tied to one person. They have an account manager that they work with, but we've got a team of people behind them doing the work. And so the clients are really happy about it once they discover that that's how it works. But the challenges are always, switching systems over when the clients are used to doing it a certain way, and they don't come to us because they're unhappy with their service, how we acquire normal clients. They've come to us by these acquisitions. And so we have to make that transition as easy for them as possible. And so it's a little bit challenging, and we just acquired one, so we're dealing with that right now.
How long does it take to get them settled in?
About 3 months. After about 3 months of them understanding that things haven't changed, they're getting better if they are changing, and then they really feel like they're tied to Sum of All Numbers and they are on board with us.
When you acquire practices, do you often acquire the help with it? Or do you transition it into other people?
Both. I acquired one last year that she only had one employee, and the business owner was doing most of the work. And so I had to transition a lot of that work into my people, which is a good way to grow as well, because it filled the extra hours that my people had. But then the one I've just purchased 2 weeks ago, she had 4 employees and 2 contractors that were working and doing all of the work. So we have different challenges with both of them, but it's definitely easier if they have somebody else that's working with them to do the work. So
now, what are the pros and cons that you found to date of being your own entrepreneur?
The list is many. I heard somebody say once that an entrepreneur is somebody who will quit a 40-hour-a-week job to work 80 hours a week and not get paid. And that's kind of the basis of it. It's been interesting to see as we work with our clients as well that I love working with entrepreneurs because we're passionate about what we do and we're so good at what we do, but running the business part of things tends to be a little bit difficult. I have a finance background and I have a numbers background, so I can focus on that part, but the sales for me is a harder part. The sales and marketing, that's not where my focus is. And so trying to learn how to balance everything. And, we have clients that come to us because they don't understand the finances because they're entrepreneurs. They want to, sell their widgets or make their ice cream. And so they come to us to help them, support them in that side. So,
are you big on online technologies with bookkeeping solutions and such?
Absolutely. As a virtual company, we have to. Everything we do is online. We use a QuickBooks hosted solution. We are moving into the new Xero accounting solution that's coming out. We've got all of our project management online. Everything we do is online. So you have to be now.
I understand that, as technology moves, it's a challenge to kind of keep up with.
It is.
Everything changing, too.
And you worry that you're going to get behind, as we get caught up in doing our business and just doing the day-to-day things and running the business. You worry about that you're going to be left behind because what you have works, but it may not be what's going to be there in a year or two from now.
So Holly, will you take any client coming to you?
No.
Okay.
We have very specific clients that we work with.
And how do you define that?
So we work with clients that are on a growth path for sure. Usually between $500,000 and $5 million in revenue. We work with business owners that are passionate about what they do and they're excited to grow their businesses, but they need the support of an accounting department. And so we provide accounting clerk, account manager, controller, and CFO services to them. And so we help them as they grow their businesses move forward. And so that's people that are on a growth path are really exciting for us to work with. We work with a lot of pre-revenue startup clients. We work with actually a lot of startup companies around the world, actually. But they're pre-revenue, but they're on that growth path. And that's exciting for us. The clients that are really moving forward are perfect clients for us.
So you do CFO services then?
Yes, we do. And what we do with those is we contract those with outside CFO. There's a lot of virtual CFOs. And so we contract those with them for our clients.
So how do you feel, what do you feel has helped you in your success to get to this point?
Having a support system behind me. You can't do it on your own. In fact, the business that I just purchased, the reason that the business owner sold the business is that she has a husband that worked 80 hours a week and wasn't around. And so she didn't have that support system to take care of the kids and, everything that we do as women and moms. And to have a support system, not just with my husband, but with my employees, other people in the community that are there to help us along the way. It's critical.
Now, if you had to start your company again, what would you do differently?
I don't know that I would do anything different except being aware of where my profitability numbers are. And I'm big, like I said, I'm a numbers person, but there's that point when it's, how do I hire somebody? When is that point to make sure that the company's profitable before you hire people? And it would have been nice to know that, 7 years ago when I started the business instead of in the last 2 or 3 years, because I think there was a lot of money lost. And the other thing would have been that I've learned now is when you think you need to let somebody go, you need to let somebody go. And that's been a big learning lesson for me. I'm a people person and I feel bad, but sometimes it's best to cut your ties.
So if a person's looking at, I need a bookkeeper, how do I get a hold of Holly? How do they reach you at Sum of All Numbers?
Our website's www.sumofallnumbers.com. They can give us a call, 888-564-5777, and just tell them that you're interested in finding out more about our services, and we'll have somebody get in touch with you.
Why don't you give that one more time?
888-564-5777.
And what are some of the things they should be prepared for when coming to talk to you?
What we do when they first come into us is we actually do an evaluation of their accounting system. So we need to have access to if they're using QuickBooks file, their previous year's tax returns, and their most recent bank statements.
You do tax returns too? Or?
We don't. We don't do any tax returns or audits. We're not CPAs. We work closely with CPAs for that.
All right. I'm visiting here today with Holly Devito. She is the founder and the owner of Sum of All Numbers. Holly, thank you for being on today's show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back after these messages.